This place is coming like a ghost town. Bands won't play no more. Too much fighting on the dance floor.
Have you ever been in love? I hadn't until 3 weeks ago. I know, right? Sucks. Timing sucks. Technically, I've been in love a little bit longer than that, maybe 6 months. But I didn't know that was what it was then. I thought I was sick. Dad was worried I was getting depressed. My teachers all wondered why I'd stopped focusing in class. I mean, okay, that wasn't only the love thing. Class has actually been pretty boring this year. It's sort of like they've stopped making an effort. Tell us to bring our devices, plug in, call it inquiry learning, and bingo, they're off the hook. Anyway, took me a while to work out that my symptoms were pretty much due to a lack of sleep, which in turn was due to lying awake thinking about him and dreaming all of those impossible dreams about how it might be when he looked at me and felt the same. And 3 weeks ago I decided that it was time to be brave or shut the hell up, you know? So I went up to him, broad daylight, completely face to face, old school analog, gutsy, heart-wrenching, can't breathe, impossible to look or sound casual and stupidity. And I said, hey, would you like to hang out sometime? And he said, sure, how about this weekend? And then someone, somewhere, ate a bat or got coughed on by a lizard or whatever the hell it was, and now we're stuck in lockdown. And I hate it, you know? I really, really hate it. So I messaged him and said, well, this sucks. And he replied with, yup. That's it. The only communication we've had. I didn't want to come across as needy, you know? Might have been a mistake now that I think about it. Do you think it was a mistake? Do you think it was a mistake?
So, Dwayne's gone missing. I know, doesn't sound like a real person. Dwayne. Sounds like he's made up. Beginning to think I may have made him up myself. Strange times. It was the day before lockdown. Last day of school even. And he didn't come. Big deal, right? People wag all the time. Except when we tried to message him, me and Livy, we're kind of his two best friends, he didn't reply. And when we tried to figure out, there was nothing at all, you know? A flat phone battery, a bit of a sulk, whatever. It's when they announced the lockdown. I tried getting in contact with his parents, but they don't like me much. Think I'm a bad influence. And nothing from Dwayne. I went to his house. It's part of my government-approved exercise outing. His house is 5 kilometers away. Don't think that counts as local. Not sure. When I got there was nothing I could do but look at his windows and hope. It was a teddy bear. Kind of bored and forlorn. Yeah. I tried to call his name. It didn't work. After about a few minutes of that, a neighbour actually leaned out their window and whispered sort of loudly, "You know there's a lockdown, right?" I don't know. Maybe she thinks that viruses are transmitted through sound waves. People believe dumb stuff like that.
Okay, so my neighbour has been breaking the lockdown, and my brother is furious. He's tried ringing the police stop-in line, like, I don't know, maybe 15 times now. He never gets through though, the system's overloaded. I reckon we've become a nation of snitches. I'm not as mad though, I'm more just fascinated. I mean, if you had met my neighbour before, you would understand. He lives alone and is the sort of man who could be 45, 60, maybe even 70. You know, the sort of person who's looked old their entire life? That's him. He is mostly bald, but doesn't have the self-respect to shave the rest off, so what's left just sort of flaps around in the wind like it's waving out to be rescued. He wears cardigans, loves his vegetable garden and his cat. And he drives an aqua green Ford Fiesta. Very, very slowly. And if you had asked me a week ago, I would have told you he'd never broken the law in his entire life. But people have been visiting his house, other men of a certain age. They usually come alone, sometimes in twos. They go in through the back gate and he lets them into his garage. Usually they stay for an average of 33 minutes. I want to see what goes on in there. Sneak in one night, sneak into the garage, see what he's up to. It's boring, isn't it? This whole lockdown. I've got to do something.
Food is my main reason for living. I want to be a chef when I leave school, which is hopefully soon because teachers are dicks. They really are. That is, though, if restaurants are still a thing after the lockdown. Somebody said 40% of them are meant to be closing in the next 6 months. Could be a chance to pick up a cheap lease somewhere, though. Dad said he'll help me. I live with him every second weekend. He's kind of busy all the time, though. He tries to make up for it by buying me things I shouldn't really have. Like this new food mixer I got yesterday. Apparently it's an essential, so they delivered it straight to my door. Mum gets kind of mad when Dad buys me things, says things like, "So I work my ass off and he just buys your love, does he?" And I say, "Mum, it's okay. I don't really love either of you." You got to pick your moment for that kind of humour because it's kind of a joke, but lockdown's not really the moment for anything. Apart from hollandaise sauce. It's always the moment for hollandaise sauce. Anyone who says otherwise is a complete barbarian.
I've been going on Tinder. It gets monotonous, this whole lockdown thing, so I've set up a profile. Not of me, obviously. Where would the fun in that be? My sister's done it too. We're both 24-year-old women with interest in craft beer and football. And it's sort of a competition. What we do is we set up dates and, you know, it's a lockdown, so you aren't actually meant to be going on dates. But that's the whole point. Can you lure a stranger out of their home during a nationwide lockdown? We have a scoring system. 1 point for a promise to meet within the first week of talking. So I say I've got a dog, husky, because that's distinctive, and I tell him to meet me at the waterfront at midday. And I'll say we can go on a walk, and if anyone asks, we say we're in the same bubble. So 1 point if he agrees, 2 points if he actually turns up and then messages us and asks where we are, then we give an excuse. 3 points if he believes the excuse and contacts me again. 4 points if he turns up a second time. It's pretty close at the moment. I've got 56 points and my sister's got 58. Men are sort of stupid.
I'm starting to get quite anxious about the schoolwork. What I'm missing? A lot of my friends are completely relaxed about the whole thing. They say stuff like, "It's only level 1, it doesn't matter." But I think they're missing the point. They like to say it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. Like later in year 13, when it matters, I'll make an effort then. But by then they're going to be lagging kilometres behind, you know? They could hitch a ride with a motorcyclist and still end up coming 13th. 13th is not a position I would be happy with. One moment. Sorry, you might have been able to hear that in the background. It's my nan. She'd come to stay with us just before lockdown for 3 nights. She's my mum's mother. Dad had it all planned. I was going to have important meetings at the football club one night and then hosting a dinner for a client the next. He told me, just a secret between us. Yeah, I know this is going to be public. Never tell a teenager a secret. He told me that by his calculations, he'd only have to spend 11.5 minutes with his mother-in-law. 23 days later, every club, restaurant and bar in the country is closed. That plan's been rather blown. She shouts at him a lot. I come in here, mostly to catch up on my schoolwork. I sent in 3 pieces yesterday, and 2 of the teachers still haven't provided me with written feedback. Unbelievable that they're still being paid.
So, I got this weird message yesterday. Like, I don't think it was meant for me. There was no name or anything, and they wrote it like I know who it was, but it's not a number I recognise. And I actually sent it through to a few other people, and nobody recognises it. And I've searched the number too, but nothing's come up, and it's weird, you know? Right, okay, that's not going to make any sense to you. But, I don't know, maybe if I read you the message? I mean, okay, imagine this comes through to you. What would you do? Hey, I've done it. Just like I said I would. Thank you for believing in me when no one else would. You won't see me for a while now. Nobody will. You want to tell them not to worry, but you mustn't. Nobody can know you've heard from me. You're my favourite. Thank you. D. So, okay, right? Like, so, okay, probably it's just nothing, right? Like, there is some perfectly normal explanation for that message that would make complete, non-disturbing sense to the person it was meant for, right? Right. But I keep thinking about it, trying to work it out, you know? That's the thing about lockdown. There's way too much time for thinking.
Yesterday I did 500 sit-ups, 400 push-ups, 300 burpees, and 100 pull-ups. Not all at once. The pull-ups took me 8 sessions. For example, I have a program, a target. It is important to be disciplined in these times. I'm sorry, excuse me. Not a cough. Don't worry. Just a burp. Today's my bread day. 2 days a week. I only eat bread. It makes me burp. Oh, the other 5? I don't eat any carbs. It's scientifically proven. I have a cycle trainer downstairs in the garage set up that covers my cardio. Three sessions a day, strictly before eating. Because it alters the way the metabolism operates. It also gets the body used to efficient fat burning. I don't need the details. I'll link it below, I'm sure. For those who want more info, I'll tell you what. There's only one answer. Discipline. Complete and utter discipline. Unwavering focus. I hope lockdown lasts longer. 2 extra weeks should do it. That should be enough to deliver me up the perfect lockdown body.
Okay, so this is sort of a confession. I broke into a house and I stole a camera. Nice camera too. Canon M50, mirrorless. It was a real beast. The thing is, I meant to give it back. The next day even. The only problem was the next day was the lockdown. Bummer, right? I'm not a thief, more of a prankster. It was my mate I stole the camera off. And so I just planned to, take it, form some incrimination evidence with it, and then put it back. He wouldn't have even noticed it was gone. But then the lockdown happened. And sure, I could text him and say, hey, sorry, I stole your camera, it's in your letterbox. But the thing is, I looked on it. I got curious. You'd get curious too, if it was you. And what I saw on there, it's not very easy to explain. I kind of can't give it back now. Listen, I've got to go, but I'll explain later.
So things are pretty tough right now. It's just me and my brother, who's 16 and lazy, and my mum, who's pretty sick at the moment. She's been sick for a while, so I kind of do most of the work around the house. I get groceries and stuff. I get groceries for my nan as well. She leaves money out in the litter box, and then I go and get her groceries and leave them in a little box on her porch. And it's kind of sad reading all this that she writes me. Like 1 packet of tea, a small tin of pink salmon, and 3 potatoes. My family eats a lot more. Mostly my brother, he eats a lot. I go shopping on Wednesdays, which is benefit day, and anything that doesn't require cooking, he normally eats by Saturday. Money's running pretty low. I look after that as well. I used to have a part-time job before lockdown, and some people say that he should still be paying me, but it's this guy, and I used to wash his taxis for him because he owned a bunch of them, and he hasn't been returning my calls, but it's okay. Could be worse, right? That's what my nan says. She's learned how to use Skype, and it's so funny because she never looks at the camera.
So, I've started drinking. I'm sort of lucky because Mum thinks Dad has a secret drinking problem and vice versa. So as you can see, there's a little window of opportunity there. I don't love the taste, to be absolutely honest. I have to force it down a little bit. There's a lot of wine around the house, whereas in a perfect world, I'd be starting with RTDs and working my way up, but these are difficult circumstances, and we all have to make compromises for the greater good. I understand that. I've actually set up a wine appreciation group with a few of the people in my class. We've set up a Google Classroom for it because it's a good platform for sharing. And Maddie's parents check her Citrus history quite a bit. Google Classroom looks legit. I'm enjoying the varietals most for now. I struggle a bit with reds, and Sauvignon Blanc tastes a bit like cat's pee. I've actually read that it's genetic, that some people are naturally more sensitive to the cat piss taste, and some people aren't. Same with Brussels sprouts. I'm thinking of setting up a website. Wine reviews for the underaged. There's opportunities everywhere, if you know where to look.
I have a little brother. He's 4 years old. I used to think he was cute. But we're 3 weeks into lockdown and I now know him to be the devil. It said the greatest trick the devil has ever pulled was making us believe he didn't exist. Well, I'm outing him. He's 2 feet tall, as cute as a button, and is a destroyer. A destroyer of peace, of focus, a destroyer of happiness. I know him to be the devil because he knows too much for a 4-year-old. He understands too much. He comes in. He sits there with a smile on his face. And you just wait. You wait for it to start. The little comments, the sly looks. He has this little tune he hums to himself. First time you hear it, it sounds sort of sweet and cute. But it burrows into your brain. It loosens your grip on reality. Drives you insane. He digs. And he digs and he digs till he gets a reaction. And so you do what you have to do. Because he's there. And he's the devil, and that's your responsibility, right? To do something. So I push him, or make a sign of the crucifix, or exit him out of Peppa Pig, and he just loses it. Like I've ripped his eyeball out of his socket, and Mum comes in, angry as, completely furious, and he just sits there looking all innocent and hurt and vulnerable. And she says to me, "Oh, come on, he's only 4. And I think, yeah, but Mum, he's the devil.
Hi there. How are you all? Look, I can't speak too loudly because a lot of what I'm about to say is, well, you'll understand when you hear it. It's explosive. I've had a bit of time on my hands lately. Well, a lot of time. And I'm not the sort to just sit around waiting for the world to start back up again. I've been doing my research. Finding things out. It's amazing what lies hidden away online if you just know where to look for it. Who to trust. People don't want you to find out the truth. It's through controlling access to information that they control the population. Keep us docile. Like this virus, COVID-19. They like to plant little clues, you see, patterns in words and numbers, left for those whose eyes are still open to discovery. COVID stands for co-production video, a reference to the moon landing, which was a US-Russian co-production, an elaborate video hoax. So, when you see COVID, you know someone's trying to tell you this isn't what it seems. 19. Now, that's the 8th prime number. Another code. The book of Genesis, chapter 8. Noah sends the doves out from the ark, and one of them does not return. The land has been found. The waters are receding. Look, I gotta go, okay? But think about it, right? Break the code.
Hey guys, thought I'd just show you around my neighborhood while I'm doing some exercise. One thing I noticed, man, the amount of people who had discovered walking is unbelievable. Those poor dogs get absolutely knackered. That should be like animal abuse or something. God. getting dragged along by people because they've run out of things to watch on Netflix. Unacceptable. Well, this is my street. Yeah, nothing special. You see that house over there? That's a tinny house. Not sure how they're getting along anymore with no one being able to visit and all the skate parks being closed. Oh, and this house right here. This is where the Jenkins lives. There's 8 kids in there. The oldest is only 14. Seriously, imagine what it's like. And up here, there's a house up here for sale. Till the lockdown happened and then Dubai went back overseas. Wait, hold up. I think that's someone I know. Dwayne? Dwayne! Oh. Well, my headphones fell out, and I swear I saw a guy from my school. It's weird. He would have heard me, and also, I mean, he doesn't even live around here. Just disappeared into those bushes. I didn't even know there was a path in there. And my God, I need a haircut.
I'd like to be an influencer. I went to the careers lady and she made me fill out all these questionnaires and then asked me about my interests and, you know, my passions. And she came up with either working in a pharmacy or a driving instructor, which seems sort of crazy because I don't have my license yet. But I sort of had a moment, you know, when she was talking. I realized what I'm really passionate about, like properly committed to. My calling, you could say, is I'm totally into having other people like me and want to be like me. And I'm the sort of person who wants to make a contribution to the world. I want to be able to offer others the chance to be like me. I know lots of things, like about makeup and looking hot and things. I know that seems a bit arrogant, but you've got to be a bit arrogant to be an influencer. I'd like to travel to mostly places with beaches and stuff, because I care about the environment, you know? I could raise awareness by going to all these beautiful places and getting my photo taken with all that nature. I love nature.
Loving lockdown. I mean, so much fun. No timetables. No having to ask, excuse me, can I go to the bathroom, please? No other people deciding what's important for you to know and what isn't. No assemblies. It's just sort of make your own fun. Example, Taskmaster Lockdown Challenge. Brilliant. They set the challenges, you solve them, film them, send them in. Make something spectacular out of a pair of trousers. Perfect. Got it. A little bit of petrol to soak them in. Wait for night time. Hang them from the tree. Dress up like a ninja. Throw a flaming tennis ball, also soaked in petrol. Add the trousers, and bingo. Spectacular. And also, and fun. And absolutely, completely not the sort of thing you do at school. Because there's always gonna be someone saying, yes, but what about the health and safety? What if you miss the trousers and hit the garden shed? What if the tree catches on fire? Well, it didn't, okay? And it didn't. And it just looked awesome. Next, I'm gonna strap a camera to my head, sit on my skateboard on the top of the hill, and you don't need to know the rest.
Yeah. My father wanted to be in the army.
Surprise.
It was the structure of the days that mostly appealed to him. The certainty. My father is a very organised person. Normally there's not too much of a problem, because one of the things he's best at organising is his ways to avoid being with his family. But now, we're all in lockdown. Week 3, or day 020 as he would call it. He has a whistle. When the whistle blows, we move on to the next prescribed family activity. The days start with room inspections and a family conference at 7:30 a.m, precisely 3.5 hours before I'm fully awake. I live in hope that the next time the whistle blows, he'll wake me from this terrible dream. Last night, I watched my mother spending 30 minutes sharpening all our knives. It seemed to soothe her. I can understand that. He controls everything. The compulsory group exercises, or drills as he prefers to call it, our online time allocation, our schoolwork, there's a roster for device charging, I kid you not, even our supermarket shopping list. I want you to think about that. A man who has never once in his life cooked a meal, taking charge of the supermarket shop. I know I shouldn't complain, and there will be people out there who have it much tougher than I do. But seriously, my father is a dickhead.